Hello, my name is Babette. Welcome to Lesson 13 from my book, Babette's Quick Start Guide to Theory for Fiddlers, Book 1. This lesson is about the flats. The last lesson was about the flat keys. Now we're going to learn what those flats are. If you recall, early in the first part of the book, within the first couple of lessons, we learned about the sharps, and we're going to use that same model to learn about these flats. I'll start you with one flat, then we'll have a short worksheet, and then we'll continue with some other flats, and then have another worksheet. So, let's begin. This lesson is about the first flat, and the first flat is B flat. When you go to read your flat signs on the staff, you read them from left to right, the same direction that you read sharps in, and like you read a book. B flat is always the first flat, and you will find the sign for B flat on the middle line of the staff. To find B flat on your violin, place your first finger in the low position next to the nut on the A string. That note is B flat. In the lesson on flats, we learned that there is only one flat in the key of F. That flat is B flat. We learned that there are two flats in the key of B flat. The first flat is always B flat. We learned that there are three flats in the key of E flat. The first flat is always B flat. And we learned that there are four flats in the key of A flat. The first flat is always B flat. B flat is always the first flat. Okay, let's take a look at the worksheet for B flat is the first flat. In question 1, what is the first flat? Well, the first flat is B flat. Question 2, how do you find the first flat on the violin? If you take your first finger, put it close to the nut on the E string, and then move that over to the A string, and that note is B flat. Question 3, the sign for B flat is placed on what line of the staff? The flat sign for B flat is always placed on the middle line of the staff. Question 4, B flat is the only flat in what key? B flat is the only flat in the key of F. And now for our review questions. Question 1, what is the first sharp? The first sharp is F sharp. Question 2, what is the first sharp key? The first sharp key is G. Question 3, how many flats are there in the key of E flat? Well, to find that out, we go from right to left on our strings with our first finger in the position closest to the nut. And so, starting on the E string, the first flat key is F. Then we move to the A string and the first flat key is B flat. Then we move to the D string and the first flat key is E flat. So the answer to this question is there are three flats in the key of E flat. Question 4, what is the major scale finger pattern? The major scale finger pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And question 5, What notes do you start and end the following scales on? In the key of A, you start on A and you end on A. In the key of F, you start on F and you end on F. In the key of G, you start on G and end on G. And in the key of B flat, you start on B flat and end on B flat. We're going to continue our lesson by learning about some of the other flats. There are a couple of different ways to approach this, but I'm really interested in showing you the relationship between things on our instruments. So we're going to start by showing the relationship between the flat keys and the flats themselves. In lesson 12, we learned that to find the flat keys, we could take our first finger in the low position next to the nut and move it from the E string to the A string to the D string to the G string to find the keys of F, B flat, E flat, and A flat. And we can pretty much do the same thing to find the flats themselves, because you just learned that the first flat is B flat, and that's the second flat key. So if B flat is the first flat, but that's also the name of the second flat key, what is the second flat that would be in the key of B flat? Well, then you move your first finger over to the D string and you find that the second flat is E flat. So maybe this gets a little confusing, because now we know that the third flat key is E flat. So what would be the flat, the additional flat, the third flat in the key of E flat? Move your first finger over, and that's going to be A flat. And we know that A flat is the fourth flat key, and the fourth flat is D flat. Now there's another trick for remembering the names of the flats, and that is that the first four flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat, spell the word bead. But you can't just say, if somebody asked you what are the flats, you can't just say, let's see, bead, B-E-A-D. No, you have to say B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So I could just hear somebody saying, oh, well, that's so much easier than learning, that they follow in each other. And it is, if you remember the word bead. But what I'm really interested in through all these lessons is that you know how these things relate to each other on your instrument. And the flats and the flat keys both go from right to left in the low first finger position. So essentially, unlike the sharps, the flat keys and the flats are the same, except for the first flat key, which is F. There is no F flat. Remember, the flat keys are F, B flat, E flat, and A flat. The four flats that go with them are B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So the flats themselves kind of follow the flat keys. And now let's do the worksheet for the other flats. Question 1, what are the names of the flats in the key of F? Well, there's only one flat, and that key is B flat. In the key of B flat, there are two flats, which are B flat and E flat. In the key of E flat, there are three flats, which are B flat, E flat, and A flat. And in the key of A flat, there are 4 flats, which are B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Question 2, you are playing in the key of F. How many flats are there? And what are they? In the key of F, there is 1 flat, and that flat is B flat. Question 3, what is an easy way to remember the name of the flats? The name of the flats spell bead, B-E-A-D. But remember, you always need to say B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Now for the review questions. Question 1, what is the first sharp? The first sharp is F sharp. Question 2, what is the first sharp key? The first sharp key is G. Question 3, what is the first flat key? The first flat key is F. Question 4, what is the first flat? The first flat is B flat. Question 5, what finger do you use to find the flats on the violin? You use your first finger. Question 6, what finger do you use to find the flat keys on the violin? For that you also use the first finger. Question 7, what are the names of the lines on the staff? From bottom to top, it's E, G, B, D, and F. And question 8, what are the names of the spaces on the staff? This is also from bottom to top, spells the word face, F, A, C, and E. Thank you very much for following along with me on this lesson. Please leave any questions or comments you have, and we'll see you again for the next lesson. Bye.